which is their presence. And with CleanWeb itself, there is a key component, what we call it, that are related to the topic of air pollutions. One of them on data visualization. So CleanWeb has a component that helps related to the topic of air pollutions. One of them on data visualization. So CleanWeb has a component that helps with a data common alerting protocol. This is the standard format that helps national hydrological and meteorological services or alerting authority in general to create warnings that follow the global standard. So this is the implementation of CleanWeb. So far we have about 22 countries that are benefited from this. And we have about other 8 on the pipeline, then maybe another 10 countries coming also. So we are soon able to cover all the continent by this technology. These are example of the website, and then example of website and the warnings. As I said, there is a component within the CleanWeb platform that enable them to have a website, but also to use a website as a dissemination for CAP warnings. So the yellow example, those are example of the CAP warnings. More examples of the website together with the CAP warnings. But I want to show you this. This is a component for the data visualization, which enable showing data from different sources. And at the training and capacity building. I want to go for the interest of the time for the CAP Composer, which is a very, as I said, an integral component of this system, and it is very useful for warnings, for example, against all severe events, including air pollution. And it is a user-friendly CAP Composer that follows the global standard, and it enables also more smooth workflow or controllable workflow, where a forecaster will issue the warnings, but management will have the possibility to approve before the warning goes to the public. It enables a range of options for the expert to define the area that is expected to be impacted by the event, whether it is by polygon, they can upload polygons or predefined areas, administrative areas, or even they can define a circle. And this is directly related to the type of air pollution hazard. So for example, if there is an explosion of a chemical storage or a factory in a certain area, this type of chemical hazard, they start from a point and then they spread. So the capacity to draw an area or a point or a circle, that is very relevant to air pollution, a warning against air pollution. So these are examples of where the countries currently using the CAP Composer. The same countries that use CleanWeb are benefiting from the CAP Composer. And here are examples how are seamlessly disseminated through the different communication channels that are available to the national services. For example, this is example from Sudan and how the warnings are disseminated to the social media. And another example here to the left, they go to the social media, and to the right, they go to the global platform that shows warnings, including Google. Now we are onboarding countries on Google Public Alert platform, so it gives a higher chance for dissemination. Example again, this is the example from Google, but I wanted to show the improvement. This is an example of the improvement of the warnings for the countries that adopted the system. And here more another example. So for those countries before CleanWeb, they only issued 173. Now more African countries issue warnings that appear in the WMO platform, global platform for severe weather events. Now, the other component, which is again bring us to the issue of that enable the dissemination or the sharing of the data. So we are working on this. There's challenges related to data. As you know, But we also provide a solution. We provide technology to solve those bottlenecks related to data. I'll go directly to just to show a result. I'll avoid the technical, but I'll just go to show example. Yeah, I want to show you example of improvement. The technology we provided, it improve the data transmission from and data sharing from countries. This is meteorological data mainly. So we have example from Burkina Faso, South Sudan, and Chad. By February 2022, they are not sharing data. Now the data is going from them. So this same technology and same platform could be very helpful in using it for the dissemination of air pollution data or air quality data in a way that enable forecasting and enable provision of services. For the interest of time, I'll stop here, and I hope I will talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Abubakar. I think we'll come back to you. Just to clarify that at the global level, we are not yet issuing CAP warnings for air pollution.
It depends on country, differ from one country to country, and who has the mandate. Because the air quality issue is in some countries, it is with Ministry of Environment. In some other cases, the responsibility lies with the National Met Services. But the CAP is a global standard format for any warnings. You can issue a warning about fire, for example, or you can use it for flash flood or whatever. But the mandate that is a matter of national responsibility. It depends on the country who is responsible for issuing warning for what. So in some countries, for example, hydrology is with the hydrology, and meteorological hazards are handled by the meteorology. In some countries, the both sitting together in the same institution. So the same agency will issue for meteorology and hydrology. So it's just a matter of national setting, but we can provide the tools to help whoever responsible to deliver the warnings that they're responsible for.
I think yes, IGAD is launching the regional framework for climate services across 11 countries tomorrow. And as a region, how are we beginning to think through integrating this air quality, which we also call the silent killer, into the regional framework?
The regional framework for climate services. And this journey started early last year. And through that particular journey, I came to meet my friend Wonga from ACI and UNEP because in the development of regional framework for climate services, we have very clear steps that inform integrating air quality into regional framework for climate services is a noble idea. We know that the purpose of the regional framework for climate services is to provide priority sectors. And health, environment, they are key priority sectors under our regional framework, apart from others. The issue here is to reduce the risks, build resilience, and support sustainable development through actionable information. And if we have climate or environmental information or air quality information, we shall be supporting sustainable development. We cannot separate air quality from climate services. We can't. They are co-joined. We know that air quality and climate change are like twins. We know about the pollutants, we know about such as black carbon, ozone, affect human health and climate systems. So most of us talk about global warming, greenhouse gases. These are some of the gases that are responsible for the so-called climate change. So we cannot separate air quality from climate systems. Therefore, integrating air quality into regional framework for climate ensures holistic approach, where both climate and pollution challenges are addressed together. Cleaner air reduces the pattern of respiratory and cardiovascular diseases cutting health care costs. It also reduces emission to enhance ecosystem health, improving agriculture productivity and biodiversity. Therefore, strengthening stronger air quality management supports economic growth. And now for our IGAD ES region, I think this is a key issue. Cross-border hazard management. As the countries, Kenya might affect Uganda. So there is a dimension of air pollution. We know that it doesn't respect borders, political boundaries, such as dust storms, we have wildfire, smoke, we have industrial emissions, often travel across different countries. So through the regional framework for climate services, member states can have a platform whereby they can coordinate cross-border early warning systems, can be harmonized in policies and joint responses.
1 minute.
The regional framework, we know that the regional framework has pillars, and starting from climate service information pillar, it will integrate air quality data monitoring and forecasting. In the user interface, it will provide engagement between different stakeholders to look issues that affect air quality and climate, capacity building, air quality training experts in both climate and air quality monitoring and forecasting is very key. Then the research modeling pillar and prediction, we need to have advanced regional studies on the climate air quality nexus. So in summary, I can say that we need policy and institutional frameworks strengthened to enhance regional collaboration and mainstream air quality services in climate policies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Callistus. Our next presentation we'll hear from Kenya Met, from the Acting Director, Kenya Meteorological Department, Mr. Edward Muriuki. And at the back, maybe we can get his presentation ready. I think Kenya is one that I think is going to be the one to guide us through this, because you've been having this discussion long before we have through the short-lived climate pollutants many years ago. And is the presentation ready? Okay. So we'll just invite you to let us know what we're doing at the national level.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon. This is the title of the presentation. The background has already been laid, but I would wish to say that the adverse impacts of poor air quality are increasingly being felt across Africa. And this is being driven by rapid urbanization, energy use, industrial growth, and transportation, as we may all know. But despite all this, air quality monitoring has not been integrated into forecasting and climate information services. But as the previous speakers have said, the global framework for climate services provides a blueprint on which this can be handled. And the regional framework that will be launched tomorrow builds on this. Why should we be interested in the value of air quality climate service integration? One is public health. Real-time and focused air quality data enables early warning for respiratory and cardiovascular risks, especially in urban areas. This has become a problem. In the transport and aviation sector, monitoring air pollution near airports will contribute to compliance. Then there is also a climate core benefit in the sense that integrating air quality and climate parameters will enhance the understanding of short-lived climate pollutants such as black carbon, and this will contribute to climate mitigation efforts. On national strategies, it facilitates development of multi-hazard-based national climate resilience strategies. When it comes to policy coherence, as far as Kenya is concerned, by embedding air quality into the framework, the Met Department enabled us to get data from the communities. We are also collaborating, enabled us to get data from the communities. We are also collaborating with Stockholm Environmental Institute and UNEP on how we could integrate, on the integration of air quality in climate services. In March, we launched the National Framework for Climate Services, And this will enable air quality monitoring across various agencies that are in the country. The achievements so far, one is capacity builders, and this will enable air quality. The achievements so far, one is capacity building and tech on sensor-based monitoring, so that they are able to independently manage routine operations, troubleshoot instruments, and integrate air quality data sets into the workflows. Another area we have benefited is the expansion of the monitoring network. So far, 14 low-cost air quality sensors have been strategically installed in strategically selected sites. Then strengthening of the NFCS implementation. As I have said, we launched this blueprint in 2025, and this demonstrates strong institutional leadership. And this framework shall provide a national mandate. Having factored it in there, it will now be a mandate for us to embed air quality data and services into multi-sectoral decision-making. This covers health, urban development, energy, transport, and agriculture. Again, air quality was also included in the state of climate reporting. For the first time, air quality analysis was included as a dedicated session in the report 2024 for Kenya. This shows how seriously we are considering it. And this milestone has elevated air quality to the same policy level as other climate parameters. And this reinforces the urgency to mainstream it within early warning and forecasting systems. As I conclude, the collaboration between UNEP, SEI, and KMD has yielded tangible milestones. And these achievements provide a very solid foundation for scaling up towards comprehensive air quality service system in Kenya. And with strategic investments in institutional strengthening, data systems, and regional cooperation, KMD can position ourselves as a continental leader in air quality and climate services. And this will essentially contribute towards improved public health and climate resilience in the region. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll open up the floor in the next round after we hear from our last speaker, Mr. Bob Ogon. I think this is clearly one of the issues where the member states are going to have to take the lead, because you've been doing a lot more than we're seeing at the regional level and at the global level. So, Mr. Bob, maybe let us know, what is Uganda doing? What has Uganda been doing that we can learn from?
Well, thank you very much, Da. Well, environmental monitoring is a very essential aspect of our systems. Talking about including environmental monitoring and issues of air quality into the national framework for climate services, as well as regional framework for climate services, would be very essential, very instrumental, in the sense that this has never happened in our history. But having said that, I must say that over the years, we have progressively developed our system to provide early warning information for agricultural sector, water resources, energy, health, disaster risk management, so many. But the aspect of air quality has been missing in our early warning information. And establishing it within the framework would be very ideal, particularly if it emanates from the global, the regional, and cascades to the national level. However, where we stand at the moment, we have some questions that lie ahead of us. For example, should the inclusion of air quality monitoring, we talk about environmental monitoring as a whole, should it be made a standalone kind of pillar or sector within the framework, or it should be embedded in the priority sectors already identified by stakeholders within the framework which has been developed. Because I'm saying this because stakeholders came together, identified all these priority sectors. Of course, as somebody mentioned in the morning, the priority is to ensure that somebody is able to eat, and be alive. We need water. We need health is a key component there. And when we're talking about air quality, air pollution, we are linking directly to our health in this aspect. So it kind of answers the question, though I'll leave it to the members, that should it be embedded in the health sector so that it's operationalized within the framework without altering already what has been developed? Those are questions to be answered. For Uganda, we have already validated the national framework for weather and climate services. As a priority, we have to take it through the systems. It has to go to senior management now, and then top policy organ of the ministry, and then it's routed to cabinet, and this is what we're working on. Now, if this can come up within senior management, and it can easily be embedded. But having said that, the key issues that I want to leave members with is the aspect of monitoring of air quality. It needs to be strengthened. We cannot authoritatively provide forecasts or an early warning. So we need to strengthen. At the moment, these monitoring bits are centered only in the cities. And yet, it's well known that these pollutants are spread. I mean, we have winds that blow, which we monitor. I mean, the Met Service. If we can trace the origin using, existing systems, we can see how it is moving and then foretell the members. Not wait for a moment when you see that, okay, this area has this kind of pollution. Then you say, members, there is a serious issue with you. We have to be able to foretell. And that comes from capacity to monitor. From capacity to monitor. So it's important for us that we have what we call NEMA, National Environment Management Authority, which deals with all issues of environment. They are monitoring this. We also have Kampala City Council Authority. They have been monitoring this quite effectively. We have Makerere University doing that using their air core component. But I think we need to strengthen the coordination and partnership. Since the monitoring equipment are already in place in those areas, we just need to spread it and ensure that we handle it in a coordinated manner where this information, data sets can be brought into our forecasting systems, and we are able to give the forecast. I like what my colleague mentioned, that some of these have been coming out even in the State of Climate report. It's a plus. We have to be able to do this progressively, but it needs a lot of support because most of the countries will be starting from scratch. Yeah. So observation network need to be strengthened going forward to ensure that we are able to do what we're supposed to do. Now, the aspect of regional coordination and partnership is key in this. The leadership of ICPAC cannot be ignored here. Coordination and partnership is key in this. The leadership of ICPAC in this kind of focus. County level, it will be a good thing everywhere. And all the sectors, priority sectors which have been identified, both it is implemented using masks around that period. we don't want to get there. We need to do our best in our time. Thank you.
I think just based off of what both member states have said, I think you talked about the issues related to health, and you talked about, Bob, you talked about who exactly is supposed to take the lead, because it's a very valid question. Because when you talk about the health sector and clean cooking, you talk about the health sector and clean cooking, you're leaving out those. It's a very valid question. Because when you talk about the health sector, to do the monitoring. So maybe I can ask all of you, are we doing a good job in opening up this conversation and making it multi-sectoral? Maybe you can start from going down. How are we doing in terms of, maybe Abubakar, you can talk about, because this is coming from UNEP. So are you collaborating on this globally with different UN institutions?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for coming back again. As I mentioned, that there's a global program on global atmospheric watch, but the major load of observing now network is mostly in Europe. We have few in Africa. For example, we have one of the stations, I believe, in Kenya, at Mount Kenya. But if we talk about urban, or we talk about services to the public, I think we have a long way to go, in the sense that the observing network, especially in the urban areas, and that is where the key element. Of course, rural areas also require this type of services, but we need to increase the density of the observing network in urban area, where urbanization is carrying with it more polluting elements. And then in rural areas, there are also elements of pollutant that are from natural sources. So the key element we need to work on is to improve the observing network. That is really an urgent matter. And then we share the data so that we can be able to number services. As I said, in some countries the responsibility lies with other institutions, but it is really intimately linked issue, the staff interference. Okay, I hope it helps us to move. The issue is intimately linked to the meteorology, because as Dr. Bob mentioned, that the pollutants are driven by wind, the movement of the pollutant by wind, and especially the wind can fluctuate continuously during the day. So it's a very, very linked to the short-term weather forecast. It's from hours to a week. So that is why we need to bring this partnership at national level between the observing agency and the forecasting agency. And if they are at the same place, we are blessed and we're happy to go further. Then
maybe we can go to Mr. Miyuki next and come back to you. And maybe, given that Kenya has a bit more information in terms of, I think, of all the panels, you've included it in the report, what can we do in terms of priorities? I think Bob talked about there's a lot more that needs to go ahead in Uganda case, because they've already gone a lot further with the national framework before including it. So what are our priorities, key priorities moving forward for Kenya?
Thank you. As has been mentioned, expanding the network is a top priority. There is need to expand because, like I said, we only have 14 so far. We need to expand this. Then going forward, we need to integrate air quality index into our weather warnings. We need to create more awareness on this, and I'm glad we are having this conversation. More research on this needs to be undertaken. And then public sensitization and awareness at all levels. That's would be my key priorities.
Thank you. Maybe I can come to you, Bob, next, because I think you highlighted the multi-sectoral challenges really, really well. And you also talked about the need for the collaboration or the framing to come from the global to regional to national. So what do you see in terms of partnership and support, especially given that now we have UNEP, say, and the one early warning for environment coming up? What do you feel, where do you see the opportunities for partnership?
Well, thank you, Linda. You see, this discussion would have started yesterday. We are a bit late. In terms of partnership, our doors are open usually to partner with our good friends with a common interest. My colleague mentioned a key factor with a common interest. We are not able to provide an effective forecast, particularly. And then at local level, national level, we are already initiating discussions on this to ensure that we bring on board NEMA, KCCA, Makerere University. We have very strong relationship with these entities. The good news is that NEMA, National Environment Monitoring Management Authority, is part of our ministry, although it's an agency. So it's easy for us to come together and discuss this. We are talking about early warning for environment, early warning for all initiative. So I think we need to embrace this and blend them so that we don't say, for us we are giving early warning only for this aspect. It should be what we call early warning. Early warning in all, the true meaning of the term. So we need to work together to ensure that our people get the information they need to survive, to be alive, and to undertake their economic activities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think colleagues, just like Boba said, but again, we are grappling with what we've said. This is something that's falling across different mandates. So do you feel like the regional framework then becomes a vehicle to bring us all together? How do you see the regional framework? Because bringing us all together to solve this, what we're calling the silent killer.
Okay, thank you, Linda. In the regional framework, it provides a standalone sector called environment. And I want to believe that my friend from ACS, UNEP, will come and head that kind of sector. And apart from addressing the regional issues, we are also there to support the national met and hydrological services within our region, either in the revising or establishing or implementing their national framework for climate services. What I want to say that either regional, national frameworks are not cast on the stone. We only just start with a few sectors. But as we roll, because we have the secretariat, the national framework, you have a secretariat, regional framework, you have a secretariat, and all sectors are represented. You can open up and addressing other issues as you run around. The issue of mandate, to me, is being solved by the regional framework or national framework, because it has brought the mechanism, coordinating mechanism, of all stakeholders to come down. Big problem. But what I want to add is that at ICPAC we have also satellite data. We normally get satellite data, and you might realize that earlier on we had very few stations across the region, and we had just to get a few satellites from some information from the member states, and we combined with the satellite data to come up with CHAPS data. I'm also looking forward that after the member states have that kind of observation, either in urban centers, we shall work with our department within within ICPAC to see how we can develop their products such that we can have representation from non-represented areas. So I'm looking forward to that. And we shouldn't just confine ourselves to maybe to upper centers. I know I come from a place where we normally plant maize. And sometimes around that time where we have pollen crisscrossing from one area to another, you find that there are so many allergies, sickness, and people think that it's just local malaria. So we need to go beyond, even in our IGAD clusters, where there are semi-arid areas. Communities in those particular areas are really suffering because of dust. We need to do some more investment. We need to do some more research to identify the problem so that we build healthy communities across the region. Thank you.
Do we have any questions from the floor? Any hands from the floor? We have one at the back.
Thank you for this wonderfully important and stimulating session. I'm Mark Harvey from the United Kingdom. I'm one of the co-leads of Daraja, the Urban Weather and Climate Services Initiative, and I'm delighted to see several of our partners, African partners, on the panel. My question is, where do you see the interface between observation infrastructure for heat monitoring, and that for air pollution? Is there a crossover? And where do we place within target vulnerable groups those sprawling, growing urban informal settlements, which we consider to be the heartlands for Daraja? So, yeah, a question on the intersection around the infrastructure and the target vulnerable groups.
We can take one more question. Is anyone specific?
Thank you, Mark. We've worked together in Kibra and other settlements. Last week, but one, we had a workshop that brought together different sectors. This was on, because heat, as you've said, has become a big concern. So we want to develop the Nairobi City heat action plan. So this was the initial conversation. We brought all the various stakeholders together, and because there is a very close correlation. So this is something we are working on, because the temperatures are at times becoming unbearable. We had a team that went to a city in India for a study tour, and they are leading this exercise in KMD. Probably for now, this is what I would say. Thank you.
Okay, maybe in terms of infrastructure, we have automatic weather stations. And it's just a question of working with the national Met to add extra sensors. Could it be for heat? Could it for air pollution? It can be done. As we also look at the urban heat, there was some could it for air pollution, urban heat. There was some session in Cross where we met 1 day before watering a cane. But because of increased heat, things have changed. It's no longer 21 days, it's only 2 weeks, 14 days. So as much as we want also to focus in the urban, in the rural setup, it's causing a lot of havoc because it's being seen in animal abortions, death, and other things. So this is upsetting. Thank you.
And maybe, Abu Bakr, and I'll come back to you because I know you've given this a bit more thought.
Okay, just quickly around the heat. The heat also exacerbates the risk from pollution. because it make it very difficult even to breathe. And then the combination between the heat, pollutant, and humidity in some areas by themselves are making people also, especially those who are vulnerable for respiration problems, add to it pollutions and become dangerous. Then, since we talk also about, Ms. Wachana mentioned the urban heat, or we have also concern of urban heat islands, the warming around cities. So I think to observe all those, we need a more dense observing network so that the two can coexist together and we have better observing network. In WMO, we are working on WIGOS, which is a global framework for find that the temperature is higher than usual surrounding area. And that is a term came urban heat island.
As explained by colleagues, I don't want to add that those of you who did physics in lower secondary school, you remember that density is mass over is high. You expect the density of the air dispersion, taking the pollutants from dispersion, taking the pollutants from the location to another place. And